Page 380. Please revise the action of Blubs putting his arm around Durland. As noted in previous concerns, their affectionate relationship should remain comical versus flirtatious.
Nope. They're buddies. Chill out.
The gesture is approved in this context.
What? What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Hi there, and welcome to my final project for my Queer Lit class. This is going to be a video essay regarding children's content creators, specifically those who specialize in queer content and their fight against censorship. Now, censorship has always been an issue in entertainment. For example, I believe many people are aware of the Hays Code, or officially known as the Motion Picture Production Code. It was a set of industry guidelines that prohibited content that it was deemed inappropriate. That was also code for, let's be real, queer content. Now, while the Hays Code is no longer in effect, it is a byproduct of society at the time, and remnants of that culture still persist today. Everybody wants to see themselves in film and television, but what happens when corporations directly push against that? We're going to be going into this topic using a couple examples that are very much well known and well documented. And at the end of this video, I hope that you, the viewer, can truly answer, is the censorship happening right now in 2025 in kids' content? Is it intentional or merely a coincidence? And what do the corporations that are backing these shows want you to think? Steven Universe aired from 2013 to 2019 and is most notable for its unapologetic queerness. You might expect Cartoon Network to have embraced that, given how groundbreaking and popular the show was. But no, at least not at the time. Now they embrace that. But at the time, because of fears about losing revenue in countries with stricter regulations, creator Rebecca Sugar had to fight internally with executives to get the wedding between Ruby and Sapphire approved. One of the scenes that many queer people talk about in media. The creator, Rebecca Sugar, told Gay Times, quote, "We are held to standards of extremely bigoted countries. It took several years of fighting internally to get the wedding to happen. There are people who see what we're doing is insidious, and they're ignorant." So much bigotry is based on the idea that LGBTQ content is something inherently adult, which is entirely false. Now, keep in mind, Steven Universe wasn't some niche flop. It was extremely popular and profitable for Cartoon Network, especially during the years when their overall viewership was down and struggling. This was their baby. It was being viewed the most, so they could give Rebecca Sugar whatever they wanted. Except when Rebecca Sugar started asking for a wedding scene between two female characters. Because all of a sudden, it wasn't going to be profitable everywhere. So everything was great until the idea of the wedding happened. Here is something they said 6 years ago.
Straight on this. In no world would I ever quit Steven. I care about Steven Universe too much, and I never said that I would quit. The situation that I was in was that a lot of our funding was coming from international, and so because I was pitching material that they would not be able to air in some of the most conservative countries in the world, I was getting notes from those countries, and I was also getting funding from those countries. So what they told me is, if you're going to do this, you may not necessarily be able to continue making the show because that funding will no longer exist. So I had to make the choice: do I let the show cease to exist but do this, or do I not do this and the show might run longer? And I chose to tell the truth, and we survived. So that's
Before I finish my segment about Steven Universe, I really did want to highlight the quote, "But I told the truth, and we survived." You'll notice throughout this video essay that there are going to be moments where I discuss the idea of queer community, survival, and that need for community. And I truly do think that Rebecca Sugar embodied this idea with that singular quote. Anyways, so Cartoon Network's most popular show was canceled because of a queer wedding. If a very popular show is at risk of getting their funding cut, what does it mean for everybody else? But to Cartoon Network's credit, they have genuinely gotten better in terms of representation and accepting that representation within their shows. You can see companies evolve, and sometimes they do it to be insidious. For example, in my opinion, Disney. Or sometimes it seems like the company genuinely wants to make a change. And based on my own observations, Cartoon Network does seem to be the latter. And while we could talk about other Cartoon Network shows, such as The Legend of Korra, I decided that we should definitely go over to Disney Channel.
About to unleash the power of the Roy G. Bivatron into Stan's office.
Nothing brightens a dark room like light from a window. Time to open the window. Oh no! Why? Why is this happening?
Ta-da! Surprise!
My eyes are on fire! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Now, I'm only going to be briefly talking about Gravity Falls, and the main reason for that is the limited queer representation in the show. That's not me dissing Alex Hirsch in any ways. I love Alex Hirsch. I really like his work. And I do love Blubs and Durlin for what they are. We just don't have that much representation in this show. Now, as evident in the intro video, which at the very beginning, if you remember it, if you don't, I'll give you a little bit of a reminder.
Please revise the text on Tambry's flyer. Bottles will be spun. This implies they are playing Spin the Bottle. We don't want to send the wrong message to our audience.
The message is, teenagers like kissing. How on earth is that the wrong message? And it's on a flyer, we don't even show it. You gotta be kidding me here.
S&P is still uncomfortable with this flyer, giving the impression that it is a make-out party.
What's a makeout party and where can I find one? Fine. We'll remove the line, bottles will be spun. Please replace with new line, not S&P approved.
Please omit not S&P approved on the party flyer.
I don't see what the problem with this is.
Not S&P approved has been approved by S&P.
Whoa! This is worthless.
I'm sorry. That's still one of my favorite clips, actually. But as evident from that video, which is actual emails that Alex Hirsch read aloud that were between him and Disney during his time of making Gravity Falls, I think it's very evident that they were extremely unhelpful when it came to any content that did not fit the Disney image. And Alex Hirsch seemed to hate this. No, he absolutely hated this. In 2021, after Disney posted a tweet regarding Pride, he responded as such. I'm going to first read out Disney's tweet, which was, "There's room for everyone under the rainbow. Happy #Pride Month." Very standard, very corporate Pride. Alex Hirsch then replied, "Disney privately, cut the gay scene. We might lose precious pennies from Russia and China. Disney publicly, honk honk. We put rainbow bumper stickers on Lightning McQueen today. Consume our products, teens." To any creative at Disney TV, feature, publishing, or streaming, please mercilessly spam your execs with "There's room for everyone under the rainbow" next time they try to tell you to please revise your LGBTQ character for not being Disney appropriate. And you know what? Credit to where credit's due. He was able to canonize. I'm in a fandom and I don't even know how to say this. He did make a couple canon. That's right. I'm talking about my favorite side characters, Darlin and Blubs.
And if you break the rules, we're gonna zap you.
Zap, zap! We're mad with power!
And love.
Gravity Falls is yet another extremely popular show. And if it took all of that just to get a small scene of Blubs and Durland. What about the other shows that came after it? The Owl House, the show that ended way too soon. I did really love this show, and I was super upset when it ended because I feel like we could have had so many more seasons of it, but we didn't because Disney canceled it. Now, despite the rumors, showrunner Dana Terrace does say that the show was not canceled due to the explicitly queer main couple. Considering how much they've been outspoken about how much they do not like Disney, I do not think that Dana Terrace would lie about the reason why the show was canceled. I just don't think that that's how it would go. In regards to how the show was censored throughout its run, I actually found a wonderful resource where multiple fans did a lot more work than I, and that is going to be on the Owl House fandom, specifically on the Censorship wiki. Notably, the most censored episode is Knock Knock on Hootie's Door. This is an episode in Season 2 where the main couple, Luce and Amity, confess and get together. Taiwan and the Middle East changed the dialogue to them being friends. Russia completely canceled the dub of Season 2 altogether due to the sheer amount of romantic moments between the two main characters. I actually did want to compare the Taiwanese dub of Knock Knock on Hootie's Door and the original dub that aired in America.
Of love, I thought, Amity's too cool for this.
I'm not as cool as you think.
Okay, everything is so crazy right now, and I have no idea what my future holds, but it would be so cool if you were in it. So,
Do you want to go out with me?
No, I was so ready.
总之，一切都疯狂到极点。我不知道自己的未来会怎样，但未来如果能有你，一定会超酷。所以，我们盛装出游吧。不，被抢先一步。
They're buddies. Chill out.
Most comically is how some broadcasts kept majority of the episodes, but changed the couple to just being friends. Yes, that does mean that in some censored dubs, the couple still share a kiss. All this talk is completely ignoring the character Willow and her two dads, where broadcasting networks such as the one in Southeast Asia completely cut out the two side characters. The Owl House is widely considered a trailblazing Disney show. It is a TV7 piece of media with not only a BIPOC woman, but also a bisexual one. And even this show experienced heavy censorship and issues. Even if it does not have the level of ultimatums that Sugar had with Steven Universe, it's still important to point out just how much the show was censored in other countries just so that it could air. Now, I do want to talk about one last show, and this is a show that aired in 2025.
I have a beast living inside me!
Ewan, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Win or Lose is a short Disney Plus series that was released this year in 2025. It's centered around a middle school baseball team. While looking overall enjoyable, it wasn't on my radar until the public talked about a cut storyline right before its release in 2024. One of the characters was supposed to be trans. Their name, Kai. Now, I found a wonderful quote that I would like to read to you that Disney said. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. Disney to the Hollywood Reporter. I don't think I've ever found a quote that has perfectly responded to my thesis before. Like, sometimes you had to get quotes to fit a thesis, but Disney explicitly saying, yeah, we didn't want to put that in our show because we didn't want parents having conversations with their kids about trans people, is genuinely insane. That is the most insane thing that I have actually ever read. When I uncovered this while doing research, I laughed aloud. Because what do you mean, Disney? And it's a genuine shame that they cut out Kai's trans identity, because there was incredible amount of care put into their character. And Danny Barnhart, an animator for the show, shared a wonderful clip of the original concept. That's what's playing right now. This is incredible. And the fact that Disney cut this storyline in 2025 is mind-blowing. Early 2000s, okay, disappointing, but expected. But now, after years of claiming that they have the first gay character every other year, and after mishandling the openly queer lead of Strange World, it's not shocking, but it's disheartening. Because it's Disney, and they always want to claim that they are the most progressive when seemingly they cannot get past simple representation. And yes, it's still very much implied with Kai that she is trans. But to lose that explicit rep and have it more be implied is still very hard to swallow. Everyone wants to see themselves, but for young people especially, understanding and accepting yourself is so important. As corporations continue to toss small, safe crumbs toward our community, it's worth remembering the real-world representation and the real harm of censoring. No one is saying that representation has to be all positive, but to forgo it completely is not the way to go either. People deserve to see themselves. And this goes beyond children's media. I am explicitly now talking beyond children's media, even if that is where my thesis began. I want to close this video with a quote from Stranger Things Season 5. It's just to end the video. It's a nice montage. You can obviously skip it if you want to, but I do appreciate it. And I will be putting a timestamp of when it's over if you wanted to just skip to my last little end note.
I was cleaning rat shit out of my parents' garage, and I found this 8mm film reel, you know? And it was just from this silly movie that I made in the 4th grade, but I got it up on the projector. And all of a sudden, I was looking at this little version of myself. And that little me, I could hardly recognize her. You know, she was so carefree and, like, fearless. She just loved every part of herself. And that's when it hit me. It was never about Don't Have to Have Me. It was always just about me. I was looking for answers in somebody else, but I had all the answers. Just needed to stop being so goddamn scared. Scared of who I really was. Once I did that, I felt so free. It's like I could fly, you know? Like I could finally be Robin.
And with that, I would like to close this off by saying, despite representation occasionally being a commodity when it comes to corporations and how they represent us, always remember that your community is here for you. And when all else fails, your community will continue to try to fight for your rights.